you want to see me make this fantastic steak and ale pie, watch this video. Absolutely delicious, easy to do, and a perfect dish for a winter's evening. We're going to use this fantastic brisket of beef, which I'm going to dice up and fry off. We've got this lovely meantime ale we're going to be cooking it with. We're going to blend up some filled mushrooms to give us a bit of sauce, some onions, some thyme. Got a bit of beef stock there, the old Liam Perry's sauce. So let's get going. So first of all, you can see there's a fair bit of fat on this. This is from Tom Hixson of Smithfield. Just going to trim some of the fat off of this and cut into a nice dice. Keep it a nice size, the dice. Got a lovely grain going through that. Now we're going to lightly flour pieces of meat. Season them well with salt and pepper. A splash of oil. Make sure you take a lot of the flour off your meat. See, I'm getting a lovely colour on that. Lovely golden brown. Seed sealed off well. Right, so now we're going to cut our onions. Make sure your knives are really nice and sharp. Like that one. Really sharp. Now for our onions. So I'm not going to cut them too thin. So cut nice lines like so. And then we cut across. Like that, yep. And then straight across like that, yep. So now for our sauce, pan on. Want a little bit of thyme to go with this. And I'm going to dice up some lovely mushrooms, just to give a little bit of flavour. That, yep. Also, what I'm going to do with the rest of these mushrooms, I'm just going to blend them down with a little bit of this beef stock, which is just a beef cube that I've let down. Blend them down and make a nice puree with them. This is just going to give you a bit of body to your sauce. So a nice big piece of butter. We're going to have a recipe at the end of this, so don't worry. You ain't got to fill it. Just get that nice and sizzling. Let that melt down, then I'm going to cook my onions, my thyme and my mushrooms. Start with my onions. Nice bit of pepper. Tom Hixson peppermint. And then a nice bit of salt. Now you can use Guinness for this if you're a Guinness fan. I'm not a big fan of Guinness, so I'm using something a little bit lighter, which is a meantime IPA. People from up north probably want something a little bit stronger. So what we're going to do is going to sweat them down. It's important that they cook down well. Release all the sweetness from the onions. And coming down nicely. Get your oven set at about 140. Sweating down your onions nicely. Just put a bit of garlic in there. And then I'm going to add my mushrooms. So nearly there, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of flour that I've coated my beef in. I mean, there's a recipe, so don't worry, I just know by eye what I want. I'm just going to bring that, just to take up the butter. So just going to, just like that, seal that. Bring it together there. And I'm going to add my ale. Get an old bottle in there. Scrape the bottom. Release all the flavours there. A nice scrape like that. Lovely. As you can see, you've got a lovely thick sauce. Nice strong smell of ale. Now, I want to add some of our beef stock. So I'm just using a beef cube. Not going to add too much. I'm going to just stir that in like that. And then I'm going to add this lovely mushroom puree. So it's just the mushrooms, I've just blended them down with a little bit of salt. And that's just going to give your sauce a nice body and a nice dark colour. I'm just going to cook that out for a few minutes. Now, Worcester sauce, a nice splash of that. And just a bit of Dijon mustard, I think it carries flavours great. Just a spoon of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my meat back in this same pan, put a bit of tin foil and bang that in the oven. And I'm putting it on a 140 and I'm going to give it about 2 to 3 hours, just till the meat's nice and soft. So now, as you can see, our beef's nice and soft, just cut through with the spoon. I've took off a little bit of the fat, just poured off a little bit of the fat from the top. It's lovely. We're just going to add that straight to our pie dish. Take it right up to the edge and then we'll cool that down. I'll get the pastry ready. Now we're going to just So I've got in some bought-in puff pastry here. I don't think you need to make it. I think it's a decent product, quite simple enough. So we're just going to roll it out. Make sure you're pushing your hands flat. Plenty of flour. I'd keep turning it. Now you want it about as thick as a pound coin. That looks good to me. Next you're going to make your egg wash. So you want a whole egg. Just going to cut a couple of strips. Now pie is nice and cold. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush my egg wash around the edge of the bowl, like so. It's a little trick if you just use the back of the roller. Pick up your pastry. I'm just going to roll that back. I'm just going to lay that on top of my pie. Touch the edges, like so. Trim a bit of the extra. Now if you just make a hole, a couple of holes in the top there, then I'm going to just crimp the edges. I'm just going to twist it, pinch, twist, pinch. Very simple. Now we're going to egg wash. Just going to finish with a little cross pastry on the top. Then you want to pop that in the oven at about 160 to 170 degrees for approximately 20 to 25 minutes.